I'm accentuate. Do you remember that song? You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Latch on to the alternative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. It shows how old I am.
Oh, it's amazing.
And what I'm trying to do is to make a definition of space, that there is space between the stem and the background. And I want to show that the stem is not straight, and so I will make the darker shadow as it raises itself. I want to tell you about the amazing, amazing visit we had. Many years ago, we made friends on a trip to Mennonite country, and we have remained close friends as the two families because Eric was able to help Amos, who is the father and the historian, with German. Amos was the historian, and he had old letters written in German, and the friendship began because Eric was going to help him translate. But what happened this time really got to me. Mennonites do not kill and do not fight. And we shared our stories with them for so many years. But when we went this year, I memorized because I wanted to speak about them. You see, the family that we know came from Switzerland. And when they said to whoever was king at that time, we do not kill, we do not fight. We know that you need us to protect our land. But on the other hand, you tell us we could only do it through killing. We do not kill. And I said to them, how did you manage? Because the enemy came and your people said you must help us protect ourselves against them. But your people said we do not kill. So they were very bitter and angry at the Mennonites, and they burned their homes and made life bitter for them because they wouldn't fight. But they never stopped being who they were, and they spread across the land, and they have communes now all over America, and they raise cattle and grow corn and create peace. And to me, the main symbol I used when we were together with them, as we are just about every year, because we love them deeply and need them in order to give us hope, especially now when there's so much hate. And I said, how do you handle it when somebody says, but you must fight, otherwise they will take our land? And you said there must be other ways. And they traveled from commune to commune and do the preaching of peaceful non-resistance. You see, nowadays, that is allowed in the army. In those days it was not. And so they lost their homes and were thrown out of their lives. And I said, how do you explain to your children that the government hates them because they won't fight? And they said, we don't try to explain. We just say, you don't. The moment you hurt somebody, you're belonging to the wrong side. And it was a special moment. I told the story of when we first came there. They never screamed at their children. They never complained. They never insulted their children. And I said, how do you keep peace? And how do you teach a child? And at that time, the littlest one picked up a spoon and hit on the high chair over and over again and yelled, "Shoo fly pie, shoo fly pie, shoo fly pie." And I said, now their parents are going to be angry. But Amos, he picked up his hand. Can you feel me, Kenny, doing that? He picked up his hand and he put it on the little one's hand like this, so gently, and the little one stopped. Later on he got the shoo fly pie. But I thought of Amos's hand, that gentle hand, just saying no more. And maybe that's their way of survival, because throughout the country there are farms. We went there because I had done a painting for them, and the painting for them showed what they did in America. They fled Switzerland and other countries because they were not allowed to stay because they didn't fight. And the countries needed somebody to fight for them because they had enemies, as always do. My idea is Amos's hand saying no more. And there must be a way. You know, when I was a child, my parents didn't scream at me, but they wouldn't accept bad behavior. They would just have me go into another room until I wasn't angry anymore. Maybe we shape the world. Let me talk about meditation, because I was explaining how I meditate to them, and they understood, because that's how they pray. They ask God to give them answers, and the answer is Amos's hand. Peace. What do you need? I'll give it to you. But the correct way. You won't get it if you scream. I want to tell you about meditation because I'm learning it from Kenny. I admire Kenny's gentleness when he teaches. And Kenny is a psychotherapist, and people come to him with big problems, and he lets them speak about them. and he lets them be heard. And I think all the answers with countries might come from that. Because I once said to my nephew, when the land needs work, what if we gave the land which is not used and let them work the land and keep the produce? This way the land will grow and they will become citizens. And my concern, because I am a refugee who fled Hitler because I'm Jewish and didn't want to die, and my family and I have helped this country to grow. And those people waiting at our borders, let us use them. The best workers are refugees because they need it. And what we do is, on our borders, we separate children from their parents. We did that with the Quakers. We did that with so many people. We separate. And we are doing it on our borders.
Well, we were doing it in the last administration. I don't think we're doing it in the same way now. Oh, we got a comment. Sorry to interrupt. Susan Saft Steinberg says, "Hi, Hetty, love listening to you."
Thank you. Susan, who was my neighbor in Oceanside. I also want to show you something. You saw what I did in the drawing, but John Taracuso, when he did the story of my life in a film, he wanted pictures of my oldest. I couldn't find in a Joni's bookcase. She had them, and I would love to show them to you, okay? These are so old. When Kenny puts the picture on them, the camera on them, notice how very carefully I'm going to hold the drawings.
You were 19.
I was 19.
19
and I am now 95.
Yes.
Okay, here's the cover. I found New York. What I didn't know in those days, that my life story would happen when I first saw Orchard Street. I knew I had to show the refugees. You know, in the first drawings, I wanted to become an illustrator. So I learned how to draw shadows and illustrates. And I'll just show you those, okay? I really thought someday I'll be an illustrator. Say when.
When? Your name was Kelman at this time.
Yes.
You were not married yet. You may not even have met Eric yet.
Right.
Oh, wait. Let me show this one.
I had wanted to go to Israel to live in a kibbutz. And this was the camp where we were trained how to work the soil. And this is a story in itself.
Okay, wait, let me get these.
And women worked with men there was no difference between male and female. This was the barn.
So Sandy is watching, Paula is watching, Tracy is watching, Tammy is watching, Carol is watching, Marcia, Dory, Danielle, Eileen.
And I want to say...
And,
okay.
Well, if I could just say before we move on.
Finish first.
So Sandy says, hi, Aunt Hetty. And John Taracuso says, hi, Hetty. Hi, Ken. Hugs from California. And Eileen says, oh, Hetty, these drawings. And Ed says, so young and so talented. And Marcia says, just amazing. What beautiful work at 19. Unbelievable. Carol says, thanks for sharing these drawings. They are fantastic. And Tammy says, always trees.
Yes.
And Susan says, amazing drawings.
Now, I need to say something about which fits in what we've been saying. You see, I wanted to go to Israel so badly because I was thrown out of Austria for being Jewish and come from generations of Jews who were not allowed to live in countries. And here's what I learned. Every Jew at that time, at least most in their kitchen, had little containers, metal containers, and they would put coins in, and it was money to buy land in Israel. What we did not know was the people who lived on the land in Israel, Muslims and others, did not get that money. They didn't own the land. The land was owned by powerful nobility. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Sheikhs. Sheikh. And so, when the Jewish settlers thought that they had bought the land, they didn't buy it from the people who lived on the land. They never got a penny. They were impoverished. And I realize now, as an adult, everybody said, but we bought it. Yes, but you didn't buy it from the people who lived there, because they were poverty-stricken. They owned nothing. And isn't that how so many of us play politics? It didn't change, did it? So let me show you the more drawings, and they all have names. These are all people.
Oh, yes, these are all the people who were part of your...
of the kibbutz movement.
The kibbutz movement. That's Molly. This
Danny.
is Danny.
The papers are very delicate by now.
75 years old.
Yeah. He was one of the... And here's Paula.
Hey, Paula.
And here's Nira. Nira was the daughter of one of the women who worked.
Hadassah.
Hadassah. Dov. Dov was very good looking. And one of the women, one of the girls, loved him. But I don't remember the details. This was... Tzrif means cabin, of Kutzlat, because these are Hebrew words. But now when you hear of the war there and the heartbreak, nobody is guilty. The guilty is that We do not learn from the Mennonites. To take that hand and stop the little one from screaming, shoo fly pie.
That's Gail. Rena. Batya. Shmuel.
And of course, trees.
And of course, trees. You want me to get those pages?
Shall we go away from this and show you my beginnings of New York?
Anything? Oh.
I believe that was Danny.
We skipped one page.
Oh, we did.
Oh my God. Yeah, here.
Oh, good.
That is Joel and Teddy.
1948.
1948.
Shall we go from this and go to New York?
Sure. Whatever you like. There's lots more here. We can do them on another day.
Yes, New York would be the Black Book, I think. Yes, this is Eric.
This is not New York? Oh, okay.
This too.
Okay.
Let me show you Eric first. Eric Luce was a driver. As a matter of fact, on weekends, he used to drive for Short Line. I don't know who this was.
I think that actually might be me.
I think so too.
Yeah. I think that might be me.
My handsome Kenny. And this was, we were driving, this was in Canada.
This was 1976.
Yes.
Eileen says, you're knocking us out with this work. Stephanie says, amazing, and says, wait, go back.
This is our dog.
That's the head of our dog, Chandelier. Paula says, handsome Kenny. And Stephanie says, thank you for sharing your thoughts and drawings, Hetty. And Lee Winters Lee Winters says, Hetty, I'd like to point out that I met Gary Wexler on the boardwalk today. He says he knows you. He has joined you here tonight.
Really? He wrote the most wonderful story about Eric. What I do want to say is the painting that Eric told me to do to show the goodness of people, when I needed to have an explanation, I didn't, because the painting is finished and prints are going to be made by Artists in Partnership. You hear about that.
Yes, and we're having a party. Save the date, December 8th. You'll be getting details.
Yeah. But what happened when he wrote about Eric, I forgot the train of thought.
Gary Wexler? No? Okay.
I knew that I wanted a description of that painting done by people who would not just talk about the art.
And Gary is here. He says, hi, Lee.
Oh,
and Lee says,
wonderful.
Welcome aboard, Gary. Kathy says, these drawings are wonderful, Hetty.
I'm so happy. Now we see my dog, Alex, in a car through to New Brunswick. His name was Alex. He was the one who was not very lovable, right?
No, he was neurotic. He was lovable, but he was neurotic.
But look how gorgeous he was.
Yes, you made him look very noble.
Kenny's feet.
Gary says, I know Hetty and Eric from way back. Follow your art. I love the store. I loved your dog. And Tammy says, December 8th. And there's the feet.
But I do want to show you my beginnings of the New York I love so much. Because this was Jesse. Or Kenny.
No, that's Jessie. That's little Jess.
This is a branch. This is, I wanted to draw with the colored pencils, but they didn't send me. This is Jesse again.
And we have 3 minutes, so if you wanted to show some New York, now
Yes.
would be the time.
Right there, that book.
You got it. And Julie Kowalski-Lauer is watching.
How wonderful. Okay. I fell in love with New York. We lived near Fort Tryon Park. And they had trees. Now we're going, I guess, I don't have to know. These are Joni when she was little. This was Joni, and this was, I wanted to illustrate children's books. But this is Joni. And this is Joni. I'm telling all people the best time to draw your children is when they can't defend themselves. They lie and sleep. New York.
What year is this? What year are these?
Um,
Does it say? No.
No, but sooner or later we'll find a date. But this is my New York. My New York. Where else? This is when I wanted to be an illustrator. Joni. Kenny, I'm sorry, Kenny, you weren't born then.
Danielle Gruss says, thank you for sharing. You are such an inspiration. Marcia says, you are so talented, Hitty. I'm mesmerized.
It's not being talented. It's loving what you do. And that means you work.
Our Julie says, Hetty, we got here late tonight, but we'll watch the whole recording later. But this tour through your sketchbooks is delightful. Your drawings are totally captivating, priceless. Love you so much.
Thank you. But you see, this is when I was trying to do perspective.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
This is trying to become an illustrator.
Sharon K. Hitchin is watching. Eileen says, we are all breathless. See
This was Eric sleeping.
Oh, wait, yeah.
This, I must tell you, we left Panama and came to New York City. And my mother was so unhappy because when you opened the window, you saw buildings. Nothing was green. Now, this is the window from our kitchen in Washington Heights. And I needed to show her sadness. I think that's it.
Anything you want to say to everyone in closing?
Yes. Whenever you get angry in politics, at the world, remember the hand of Amos and take that hand in your mind and become a Mennonite and say, I shall not kill. There must be other ways. Maybe give the shoo fly pie immediately, but don't kill. I love you all. Good night.
Oh, Sharon says, hey, Hetty, it looks like you're feeling better. Carol has a shining face. Megan Campbell Priscina is watching. And Susan says, that was wonderful. She's giving clapping hands.
Bye bye.